Procrastinating David, who's that?
Those are gonna be the first lines on stream now, David. That's what you get. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosplay Photo
Hello.
Critique, episode 27. I hope I'm right on that. I always forget to write down what episode number it is.
27.
Sure,
Yeah.
we'll go with it. 27. Hell yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome, chat. Welcome to another exciting episode. This time we have returning guest. Last time he was on was for the Brotique. That was what, like 4 months
Wasn't
ago?
that was
I was in Japan
back in the
and
fall.
I tried to tune
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. And then,
it
but the
didn't
last
work.
time we had you on as a solo guest, it's been a minute. So
Yeah,
welcome
it's
back,
been a hot
David.
minute. Thank you.
Yeah. For those who
Gross.
don't know, David is Sohno Photos, and he's a photographer from New Hampshire.
Yep.
And yeah, his work is awesome. Let's just jump right into that.
I actually thought you were in Massachusetts, but whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
No, dude. I'm from New Hampshire.
Well,
The tiny state of New Hampshire.
we've got that cleared up now. Thank God.
Yep.
The Northeast is a blur, okay?
Well, it's basically Boston area. That's why you probably thought Mass, because I always say Boston area, because I've actually had
Yeah.
someone go, "Where's New Hampshire?" before. And I'm like,
Wow.
I mean, I kind of feel like I've gotten that sometimes when I've said Milwaukee and people are like, what?
what?
But
Yeah.
I'm just like, close to Chicago. Sure. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I say Boston area. Just north of Boston.
So outside of where you are located, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like how long you've been shooting and that kind of jazz?
It actually is going to be 3 years now. I started actually at NMA Boston in 2016. That's when I started shooting. Like, I bought a camera in 2015, but I actually started like really trying in 2016.
Cute.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What got you into shooting cosplay?
Well, cosplay.
Nailed it.
No,
Perfect. Let's
no,
move
no,
on.
no,
Oh,
no, so-
shit.
No, I used to just just take a bunch of like just images of people, and I kind of started seeing like other photographers or just noticing other photographers in the community. I'm like, that stuff's like so cool. You know, I want to give people cool images too. So I bought a camera and I gave it a try, and I fell in love with it. And
David, can I make a
now we're
weird
here.
can I make a weird request?
What?
Is it gonna
Is it
sound
this?
Yeah, could you unzip your shirt more? Because right where the zipper is, the mic keeps on rubbing up against the zipper when you move your head, and you just get. I was like, what the hell is that zweep noise?
You don't want that deep V action?
How's
Oh,
this?
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. That's what I was looking
Hey,
for.
bro.
No, no, but I was just like, what the hell is that zip noise?
Ah,
Like, what is
sorry.
going on? No, you're fine.
All right.
Well, yeah, we're gonna change this show to a different genre here, real quick. No.
No.
So do you shoot anything outside of cosplay?
Not too much. I'm trying to get more into like fashion and stuff like that, but I don't know, that's just more like I don't do that very often. I think this year I'm trying and stuff like that. Just like casual portraiture, not like corporate headshots or anything like that. That's not really something I'm looking to do now.
All I know.
Question.
I know, David, you bought a 10-stop ND filter, and I keep on waiting to see more landscape photos. You posted like that one of
I know,
New York
I
that
posted
one
a couple.
time.
Well, it's because it's just I don't know. Manchester's not that's where I'm from. It's not very.
You should come to
not very
DC
scenic.
during the cherry blossom.
When is that exactly?
April. Mason Hikari photos coming.
Sarah casually just eats.
Casually just stuffing your face. Yeah, no. Once summer comes around, we're gonna be going to New York a lot this year too. I'm gonna try to do a lot more exposure photography,
Yeah.
especially seascapes and stuff like that. Not some mountains and stuff like that, but mostly probably going to be
So
cityscapes
not
and
New
seascapes.
York.
Wait, what? No, I said mostly cityscapes and seascapes.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but
So
first
yes,
you said
Levi.
no, because first you said seascapes and then you said mountains, and I was like, so not New York.
No. Yeah, I'll be doing cityscapes, seascapes, and not very many, but some landscapes.
Yeah, landscapes are the thing that when I shoot them, I'm like, oh, I love doing this, and then I don't do it for like another 6 months.
Yeah.
Because landscapes require like so much patience. Because like there's some days where you go out to take photos and you're just like, well, shit. I guess my photos don't turn out today. Like the weather
Yeah,
did
no,
not play nice.
It's super hit or miss. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it requires a lot of planning too, because depending on what you want to get, like I really like if I'm doing landscapes or really anything, I like sunrise or sunset.
Yeah.
So you really have to plan for that, and obviously for sunrise, like
Yeah,
if I
that
want to go
was-
to the beach or
That was the last one I did. I drove half an hour for a sunrise shoot, and it was like right after a fresh snowstorm, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And while I was driving out there, like the sun was just starting to peak, and the clouds were perfect. I got out there, set up, and then it totally clouded over, and I'm just like, well,
yeah.
this sucks. It's one thing when it's sunset, you're just like, oh well, but then when it's sunrise, and you're like, I woke up at like 5:30 for this. Cool.
Or even earlier sometimes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It can be super demotivating.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, why the hell did I do this?
Yeah, and then it's like, no.
I like sleeping.
Same. So I usually go for sunset, but sunrise, obviously, if there's certain directions you're hoping to shoot,
Yeah.
obviously that'll change.
So, David, what's your favorite thing to shoot? And I mean this at a more granular level than like just cosplay. Let's dig a little deeper.
What do you mean? So
Like-
elaborate a little bit.
Like, is there a
Favorite-
style of shot that you enjoy doing the most? Is there types of cosplays you enjoy shooting the most? That kind of stuff.
Types of cosplays I enjoy shooting the most or style. I don't know. I've never actually
Armor,
really thought about that.
Sakizo.
Yeah, no, like
Natural light cosplay photos. What
well, yeah,
have
like,
you?
I really enjoy, but I also really enjoy artificial light. Obviously, I do a lot more natural light because that's easier. But when I can use my flashes, like I'll 100% do it. But I guess the things I like shooting is like so characters such as like characters from Bungo Stray Dogs or like Black Butler or something like just that super clean, sleek look. I just love that.
Man, I gotta introduce Andrew. We have to introduce him to Jess.
I know when I heard Bungo
Jess.
Stray
I
Dogs,
heard
I was
Bungo
just
Stray
like,
Dogs. I'm
I'm
like,
just like,
Jess.
Jess, where are you?
Yeah, we're Jess at. Wait, I should message her.
Please?
Where you
Yeah,
at?
you
Holly?
should. Because
Where
literally,
you at?
Jess was like, yeah, I watched your stream for like 10 minutes once. I was just like, thanks, Jess.
I was saying we're talking about Bungo Stray Dogs.
Well, not really, but like we mentioned,
Whatever.
Yeah.
She's the only reason I even know what that is.
I know, same. No, I mean I know what it is. I've been meaning to watch it, but she's someone
Yeah.
I know that is like really still into it, which is cool.
Yeah. I guess dark and grungy things too are fun to shoot.
What we've learned here is David likes shooting natural light and artificial flash and
It's
clean
trash.
and then grungy and like
Well,
He likes everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
it's
That's
just
what I'm
like
saying.
David's
I
just
can't-
like,
I can't,
oh, I
pinpoint.
like doing it, I guess.
No, I just like it all. Yeah, I don't know. I really do.
Mm.
There's not much I don't like to shoot.
I mean, we were trying to get down to your favorite, but whatever.
I
Okay.
don't have a favorite.
So, another question I have for you, and we're waiting for
Alright.
the one person to come out with the answer that I've yet to
That
hear.
no one expects.
But do you prefer shooting at cons or on location?
100% on location. If we're
I thought you were
talking
gonna say
about-
100% cons. And
I was
about
gonna
to be
laugh
like,
so
yeah, what?
No, so I like on location for obvious reasons. Like I mean, you can pick a setting that works with the character really well. But the thing that I do like about shooting it is it really, I like the challenge of it. I like having to like think outside of the box to get shots without people in it, or to get really interesting looking shots. I really do enjoy that challenge. But if I had to choose one, I'd choose on location 100%.
I would echo that. I do enjoy like the challenge that um cons provide. Like there's something rewarding about that, and just like
Oh
bouncing
yeah,
from shoot to shoot, and like just having to be like at
but
this constant like creative state and coming up with new things, and the
and
hype.
it
Yeah.
totally
So
pushes you outside of your comfort zone too.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
sometimes you learn things about yourself, like in good ways. Just, what were you saying, Sarah? Sorry.
what was I saying? What was I thinking?
Please reboot Sarah.exe.
What were we, oh, we're talking about convention shooting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So my it's been a long day. Okay, it's been one of those days. No. So I was actually talking to my friend who I actually took. She came to her first convention this year. It was KatsuCon, and I mean, she's like seen my photos before and like your guys' stuff. I'm talking about Jazz, David.
Oh, okay.
And she was telling me today, she's like, no, I'm just amazed that what you guys take is at that hotel. Because she was like, I was there. Like, for example, David, like when you were shooting me and Sakura, she was like, I was there. I saw you taking these photos. And like, I still couldn't process like what the final product would be.
Yeah.
And so she was saying, as someone who's just like as like a first time observer, that she was just so impressed that like the things that we can do like under that kind of pressure and in that kind of like shooting
Yeah.
situation, which obviously isn't like super ideal.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to like kind of like step back and remember that, because I know like a lot of times when I shoot at KatsuCon now, because I've done it so many freaking times, I'm kind of like, this is trash. This is obviously the gay war. This looks bad, whatever. But like, I think she's right. Like it is. I think we deserve to pat ourselves on the back a little bit for being able to,
Yeah.
adapt to those kinds of things. So it was just an interesting
Sure.
perspective because I've never stopped to think about it really.
It's funny. The one thing I thought of the first time I went to KatsuCon, like having seen a bunch of photos from it and like never having gone. And I got there and I was like, wow, I thought this was going to be a lot bigger. Like, like the location, when
me
you
too.
realize where some people took photos, you're just like, oh, this isn't,
You're like, how?
this is a lot smaller than I thought. Like, there's only one angle here that you can, like, in order to get this photo, you don't have any wiggle room. Like, it's this. And it's kind of interesting. Like, see, like I feel like KatsuCon is like the prime example for that, just because like it's so freaking specific.
Yeah, it is. I can totally agree with that. Like first time I went to KatsuCon, a lot of the areas like the grates and stuff like that, I was like, holy crap, there's like no area to work with. Especially with so many people. And this year, there was actually significantly less people than the year before, but last year was just like, holy crap, that was crazy.
Okay. So David, how do you approach a shoot? Like what do you
like from
like mindset?
So,
what do you do to get ready? That kind of stuff.
A lot of it I actually try to. So I'll do even if I know the character, I'll like kind of try to re-jog my memory with what they are, what their demeanor kind of is. And then a lot of times leading up to it, I actually think about it too much because for whatever reason I get anxious with shooting. But I'll do a lot of like the week before, I'll do a lot of character research and try and get some reference shots and stuff like that.
Cool. What is one cosplay that you've always wanted to shoot?
Actually, Joker from Batman.
Really?
Really?
Interesting. Why is that?
because I am freaking obsessed with Joker.
That's
I
funny.
just think.
Wait, are you joking right now? Are you
No,
trolling?
Are you joking right now?
Are you joking? No, I am. I
Um,
would love to
That's
have the opportunity
fun.
to shoot a Joker cosplay.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That
Yeah.
is really
That's very
interesting.
oddly specific.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't be more opposite of that, but that's awesome. But
That or I can't remember.
You don't have to say something from anime if you don't.
No, it's not because I do want to. I can't remember the name of it. The Wolf Girl.
the Wolf
her name?
Girl from Princess
The
Mononoke, San?
No. Is it Spice and
Oh, Hodo?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name. If I could do a auto shoot, that would be.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Okay. And let's see. Last question for you. Give one piece of advice that you give to photographers. It can be for beginners or otherwise.
Don't compare yourself to everybody else when you're first starting out. That is the biggest piece of advice I can offer you.
forever.
Huh?
Forever.
Yeah, I mean, just do your thing. Stop, because that was a big issue with me in the beginning, which it actually kind of worked in my benefit because it just motivated me to try harder. But there were so many times, and I was just so down about myself because my photos didn't look like I wanted them to, like this person's or whatever, and it was just. And I think that stops a lot of people too. It's just the sheer intimidation, the amount of people that do it. But just do your thing. Don't compare yourself to everybody else.
Solid. Yeah, that is all the questions I had for you. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Okay. Housekeeping stuff is as per usual. It's the same stuff.
Yep.
So you've pretty much heard this spiel. Same things I always say before the stream. If you have a suggestion for a guest that you'd like to see on, I'll posted the link in chat to where you can fill out the form to let us know about them. Always looking for more people to have on. I'm kind of looking to get some new guests on here in the next couple of streams. It's hard because I get really busy, and then booking guests can be surprisingly time consuming and a pain in the butt. So I don't know. That's usually why trying to get guests that we have never had on is significantly more work. So we might see some more return guests in the near future because my life is pretty hectic at the moment. So just putting that out there as to why you might see a few old faces, but not that that's bad
Not
at all. But
your
yeah, no,
it's
that's
easier to fall back on people we already know.
Yeah, for
who
sure.
are equipped with equipment
For sure.
to do so.
But as always with suggestions, try to keep it to people in North America. Well, technically they could be South America too. Just more like time zone wise. Just trying to keep it to people in the same time zone, roughly same time zones, so that we're not like having to deal with trying to like have someone come on at 6 a.m. while we're doing this at 7 o'clock at night, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As always, please critique along with us. It's a lot of fun. It makes the stream more fun for us. And I think it just makes things better all around if you critique along with us. We'll try and take your input as we go and bring it into the critique as well. We might miss some things, but we'll try and find those strong points and bring them in. Excuse me. As a reminder, though, we do not claim to be professional photographers that know all the answers and that our opinions are the correct ones. We're not perfect, and we're going to be sharing our opinions and kind of our best thoughts that we can convey on this. But like, don't take what we're saying as like this is the answer to the photo. Like everything we were saying, take it with a grain of salt. Bring your own judgment into it and use it more as like feedback. That's exactly what it is. Fluffy Fox, thank you so much for that resub with Twitch Prime, which leads me into my final point here, which is donations and subs are always appreciated. It helps us keep this thing going, and they're by no means expected, but we appreciate it a ton. And as always, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you have one free sub that you can give to any streamer of your choice. And if you have Amazon Prime and you're not using your Twitch Prime sub, you're just giving that money to Jeff Bezos, and he doesn't need that money. So use it. If it's not here, just at least use it somewhere. But I mean, I would like it if it was here. but yeah. So. Yeah, as always. And
it doesn't auto renew either.
No, it does not auto renew. So you have to actively do that. Yeah. So subs and donations go a long way, and I greatly appreciate all of you who can do that or are in the position to be able to do that. Thank you guys so much. And with that, let's get into some critiques. Oh, actually. One thing I want to say before, I don't want to save it quite till the end. Sarah just falls asleep. So
only half an hour. It's 8:29.
Oh, God damn it! Stop. Jenny Liz, thank you so much for those bits. But so next week we're going to do a casual stream. It's not going to be a critique. It's going to be a cosplay photography related stream. I fully don't know what that means yet. But a week from today, Thursday, we're going to do that. I don't know what that means. I just wanted to get that on people's radar right up front that we're going to be doing something. Should be fun. I think it's going to be heavily focused on like a Q&A format, but I'm going to try and put some other things into it. I don't fully know what that means. If there's anything you'd like to see in kind of like a larger format thing or like a more open format thing, feel free to message me. It's going to be myself, Sarah, and 2 other guests. I don't know who those are yet because I have not put much time planning into this yet. So we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be cool. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Just letting people know about it. Okay, let's get on to the critique. So,
alrighty. Let's do it.
This first episode, god damn it. This first photo is from Scott.
Good start, y'all.
Yeah, we're killing it here. Sarah, do you want to lead us off on this one?
Yeah. Okay. So I really, really like the colors of this photo. I think it's a very unusual color palette, like having these like muted, like pink and cyan tones. I don't really know how to explain the tone of it or like the feel of it, but I like how it feels like, I think for lack of a better term, it feels kind of matte, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But like in a good way. Like I really like it has like that really subtle like faded look, which is really, really nice. I don't know who the character is. Is it from like
Monster Hunter?
I mean, that's what I meant, like Monster Hunter. I said Dragon Age, whatever. You know what I mean?
It's Kieran, right?
Yeah, it's a Kieran armor.
Yeah.
The only reason I know it because
Allison made this one, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason I know what it is.
I thought I recognized it, but I was like, why? Okay, yeah. The other thing, because I know it was like some kind of like battle something. I like how the pose is very like calm and like reserved, so it's like unusual, I think, for this character, especially for something like Monster Hunter. So I think the mood of the photo is super nice. Also just like some really like just some like technical notes, like the retouching on the skin is like super, super nice. Like how they managed to retain the skin texture is so good. I also like the retouch on the eyes. It's like super subtle, but they brought out those highlights in her eyes, and it's just, they're so striking. Overall, I think the photo is really beautiful. My only, like, my initial feedback, I think there's too much headspace on the top. I think it could be brought down to like just cropped in like a tiny bit, not like a whole lot.
Just
like,
a little bit, yeah, I agree.
A little bit. Also,
100% agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Those are my initial thoughts. This is also, well, it's also a very nice use of the grass at Katsucon, I think. It's a different kind of framing that I haven't seen yet, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like how the grass is framing her in this shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally agree on that headspace. I think actually like there's just like give it a little bit of crop down. Like you know, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it just needs a little bit of crop down, get her head on that top third, and I think yeah, you have the perfect framing there.
Yeah, I agree.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
but I
need
honestly
much.
can't agree with you more, Sarah. Honestly, everything's retouching is fantastic. I'm literally just going to reiterate everything you said.
It's a beautiful image. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah, it
nothing,
is. It's
there's nothing
fantastic.
really to say about it.
Yeah, the color
Um,
timing's great.
I would have brightened her eyes a little bit more.
Mhm.
Especially zoomed out, I feel like her eyes are a little dark.
Like the color of her eyes? Or are you talking like the light
Just
source?
like
I
overall
mean the brightness.
brightness. Like
Yeah.
we're getting like a little bit of like the catch lights are nice, but like I feel like
Yeah.
when I'm like zoomed out full screen,
Yeah,
I
they are a
really
little
can
dark.
only see the catch lights of her eyes. I really can't make out the difference between like the pupil and the iris at all. Like I would just brighten up like the bottom of that iris so that they just pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the one thing that even beyond just a lot of negative and that cropping fixes, I just think like that there's a lot of just white in this image, which isn't necessarily bad, but I think that cropping down would definitely
There's
help
just a lot of negative space.
fix that. It's not even so much the negative space, but there's just like areas with like there's not really any detail in there. There's no like cloud textures or anything. It's just kind of like a blank white area, which isn't the most interesting. And I think if you crop that down, that also helps in that respect.
Can I
Yeah.
touch on something that we haven't talked about in a long time in photos?
Absolutely.
The watermark.
Yeah.
It's so small, dude. Like you can't.
I didn't even know there was a watermark.
You can't even
Yeah.
read it. It's
Yeah, I
too
was thinking.
small. The font is not legible at all. If you're gonna make a watermark, also I'm a trained graphic designer. I can say these things. It's too small and you can't read it. I kind of was like, I won't understand what this little white stuff at the bottom is.
Yeah.
Because like if your watermark is just there to just kind of like claim like this is yours, like it's fine to make it small, but it should still be legible. That's really
Yeah.
hard to read.
I
In
think
this like really tracked out script font. I can't read it.
I
I
think
don't even
there's
think it's. I was gonna say I don't think it's necessarily even the font.
Yeah.
I think it's just too small. Like
It's
Yeah.
way too small.
definitely,
So-
definitely make it a little bit bigger. Be
So-
proud of your stuff, man.
yeah. So I'm
Put
your
of
name on
two
it.
moins.
It doesn't
Jesus
really hurt.
Christ,
the
I
image.
can't talk today. I'm of two minds on this. It's to me there's two reasons that you'd want to use watermark. Like one of them is to kind of like it's this branding stamp on your photo, and just kind of
This
be
is
like,
mine.
hey, this is mine. Like I'm proud of this work, that kind of stuff. The other reason is anti-theft, and it can be both of those things. But I feel like this right now is like
It's so small.
not doing either of those jobs. I feel like it's aiming to be like that anti-theft way of being like kind of hidden and you don't really notice it. But like if you're
But
gonna
also
do
'cause
that,
it's so at the bottom, it's so easy to crop it out.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is
Yeah.
too. But
if
also
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
crop
that
it.
subtle thing, I think do it in a way that's even like a little bit larger, but even more subtle, like with transparency. So you have to really be looking for it. Like someone's gonna notice that, and like if they're trying to steal this photo, like they're gonna get rid of that. But like if they have something
that's
where they have to
easy
really
to
be
do.
looking for, and then you can prove like that, oh, this is my photo, then go for it. Otherwise, like man, just lean into the branding thing. Like I know a lot of people
Yeah.
hate watermarks, but like I'm the kind of person that's like, hey, it's part of your branding. Like it can look cool if you have
Yeah.
a good looking watermark and you integrate it into a photo. Well, it can almost. I'm not gonna say it'll elevate a photo, but it can look good. Like it cannot
Basically, you
detract.
can't hurt it.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
good
You can-
watermark.
you can add to it in a little
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
way too. 'Cause it's like
Mhm.
it's yours.
Yeah,
And that's what the thing with like the whole anti-theft thing too is like anyone that really wants to steal a photo could honestly watermarks in general. I mean, you need to make it huge for it to make someone hard to like steal a photo. But like mine's just like it's yours. You're just like stamping it as your own kind of thing. It's just that's my view on it.
Well, let's.
I'm not.
I will give kind of my point on like an anti-theft measure. Give me 1 second here. Hopefully I spelled that right. Just trying to do something in Photoshop real quick here. But if it were me, let's grab solar curves right now to make sure that I'm doing this right. I'm not screen sharing yet. I will. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I'll get there. I'll get there. But
So he's saying that he's looking for the heart. Just to be honest, I mean that's fine, but even just the heart, it's really hard to see.
It's super tiny.
It's really small, especially like since a lot of these are going to be posted on the web. It's going to be even smaller. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna have it there, have it be there intentionally, not just kind of like
not just like boop.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not able to. I'd have to play around with it more. There's ways to put watermarks in your image, that when you use like don't really show up, but if you like use solar curves or something like that,
oh,
it'll
I know
pop
what you're
out.
talking about. Yeah.
So it's kind of like
yeah.
invisible ink almost.
Yeah, so like you can just be like, "Oh, you stole my photo," and they'll be like, "No, you didn't." But then you take it into Photoshop and you pop open solar curves, and then you've got your big watermark all over it. Like what I was trying to do is show something like this, where you'd have like if you popped it up, you could be like, "Hey, now that I have solar curves up, it's showing this." I couldn't quite get it to appear, but not. Also, that there's some ways to do it. I just don't remember the proper technique. I was hoping to be able to show it, but I guess I don't remember quite how to do it. But yeah, that's thoughts on watermark. Good point, though, Sarah. Thanks for bringing it up. I would have totally not noticed it.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about watermarks in a long time, so I thought.
Yeah, no, totally.
Just bring it up.
Cool.
Anyway,
you guys got any final thoughts on this one?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I dig it.
Great image, beautiful.
Cool. Let's move on to the next shot. This one
I went way too down the list. Oh my god, I had the wrong photo open.
This one is from Hello, It's Cosplay. And David, do you want to start us off on this one?
Yes, I think this image is adorable. I love it. I love the color. I love the pose.
There was a dramatic pause there. I didn't know where you were going for a second. I was like,
oh, me? No. I love it. I think it's a super beautiful image. The only thing that my only gripe is that the hand's cut off at the bottom. That's the biggest thing for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, but other than that, I think the saturation is great. It really works for this image.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I love it. The pose is great. I said that already, but
I think it's a little bright or a little overexposed.
Yeah,
for me.
I
think
would
it could be taken
in some
down,
areas.
I think
no,
it's
even overall, I think it could be taken down like net -10, like one notch, like not a lot, just like a tiny bit.
Yeah. Same
yeah,
with.
It's sad that you lose all the details on her top. Like she put all this work into making this like beautiful flowered top for her costume, and you can't see any of it really.
Fair, yeah.
I would also agree. Like brightness, just a tidge, whatever that word is, but yeah, that word. For me, saturation is the area that I would tone this down. I think the saturation in the background is more or less fine. Like I think the color's nice there. I think the purples are nice. The greens are pretty lovely. But like her hair and her skin is just a little bit too hot in terms of like color saturation. I just bump those a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I can decide if the brightness was dropped down like a tiny bit, if that would solve the saturation.
Yeah, I think that would solve a little bit of it.
Both. But I have to say, when I first looked at it, it initially was like a lot for my eyes to take in.
Yeah, so let's just, for the sake of kind of giving our eyes something to look at, for example of those ideas, is
the colors are so nice
there. Yeah, this is.
I do really like the colors.
Yeah, I dropped the exposure down just a teeny bit, and then took the saturation down just a teeny bit in the skin tones, and for comparison with those, that was the skin tone dropping, and then that was the brightness, and I think that helps it. You don't need to take this much. I think you've got a really cute image, and it just needs like just pushed a little too far. Just bring it back just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, dropping. Now that I'm catching up on the feed,
Yeah,
dropping the oranges helped a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just
Minor,
like,
but...
yeah, it's pretty minor, but there's just so much saturation in those. This is the case of why, like, I don't know how this was edited, but the difference between the vibrance and the saturation sliders. This might be a good situation. Like, if you use the saturation slider to up this universally, I would use a vibrance slider instead.
Agreed. I almost never use the saturation slider.
Yeah, so the saturation slider bumps the saturation uniformly, so everything gets upped regularly. But vibrance ups saturation with the warm tones getting upped less than the cool tones, because that's just, for whatever reason, how our eyes balance things out. So it just feels more natural. So generally speaking, vibrance instead of saturation is a good way to go. I don't know if that was the case, but just in case, that is useful information. So
yeah, that was good that you brought that up, because I totally agree. I never use saturation. It's just way too strong in like the wrong areas.
Yeah, I honestly don't even touch the universal vibrance or the vibrance or saturation sliders. I use the individual color ones at this point, but like, if you're going to use a universal slider,
yeah,
definitely
for the most
use
part,
the vibrance one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the more I look at it, the more I just like, with your original point, David, just like wish this camera was down just a
smidge, a little less headspace,
just a little bit.
Hand in there would be great.
Yeah.
It's already a super nice image. Like, it's so pretty. That background is so perfect. I love it.
Yeah. Another case where I would also just if you're gonna do any more specific retouching, I would brighten the irises a little bit for eye. They're just a little dark, especially given what everything else going on around her. They kind of feel darker than they actually are. So I'd just pop them a little bit.
Yeah, just emphasize a little catch light.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to the next shot. So this next one is from Gray Romer Photography. Something I forgot to call out at the beginning of the stream is I'm going to paste the link to all of these photos on Flickr. So you guys can view them not on
high res.
Yeah, you can view them at full res versus like compressed and on the stream, which is not a great way to view them. So you're seeing the exact same thing that we are seeing. Also, as a reminder, people chat along with us. Come on, guys.
Yeah, guys.
I don't know if we've seen much talk about your opinions. No. Come on, guys. Okay, let me jump into this one. Whoops, wrong button. That's the button I wanted to press. Sorry, I've got too many buttons on here. Too much shit to manage. So yeah, I really, really dig the location and the vibe of this shot. And
she got that Yoko spunk for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really neat location. It's like one of those ones where I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to shoot. I want to shoot there. I love the pose. Love how it brings, like, bringing in a prop and making things look good can be difficult sometimes, and this is I feel
Especially a
like
prop that big.
and
I
this
know, right?
it's a great use of it. It does the pose does not look awkward at all given the prop. Um
Mm-hmm.
um the lighting I feel like is just a bit awkward. I'm trying to figure out how to put into words. I think it's just like the harsh backlight, but you get like some reflections off the ground that's causing a bit of just like harder light in the photo all together. I kind of just wish it was just a little bit softer.
I kind of wish it was facing maybe the other way. So
Yeah.
like literally turning around because there's no. I feel like the light's coming from there, like from top right. So there's no light hitting her. And I think I would have preferred this. Like while backlight can be a cool look, I think for this instance it's not the quite right look. So I think her facing the light would have been better.
Yeah.
It just feels very dark.
It does.
Yeah,
I think
I think
go ahead.
even if just like bringing up the shadows a little bit, I think because you can look on the back, like on the ground and behind her, it's obviously like middle of the day. You can see that like those harsh shadows on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been the issue with her turning the other direction.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's also
But there's also like a ton of other options to shoot.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
doesn't look like an area where you're restricted by where you can shoot. So there's bound to be an area where there's sufficient light coming through.
Yeah. So even what I would say, if you don't want to, if that's the pose that works best for the lighting, like that direction, what I would say is flip the gun around so that the barrel is pointing the opposite direction that it is. That way you can move the camera more to the right or to the left and frame it where her body's pointing into the frame as opposed to pointing out of the frame. And I think that would work better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that would help a little bit.
The other thing that I would say is I just wish this photo had a bit more skin retouching. If I were to guess, given the location and like the time of year that this is, I'm guessing that on her abdomen, those are just like 2 solid mosquito bites.
I know. I was like, I wish they'd been taken out.
Yeah, and those are pretty easy retouches to get out. I really wish those were removed. I would be surprised if those weren't mosquito bites. Just because, man, been there, done that. Removed a lot of mosquito bites in post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I'd agree with that totally. A little more skin retouching.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing, and this might just be me, I've looked at this photo a little bit, and now that her gaze kind of looks like she's looking kind of past the camera and not at the camera, but I wonder if that's just me.
I couldn't decide if she actually is or if it's just the context.
Yeah, I've looked.
The contacts have no depth to them. So it's like those really solid colored ones.
Yeah,
I know those can be like really wonky and kind of trick the eye into things.
Yeah, like part of me feels like she's looking past the camera, and part of me is like, oh, she's looking at the camera, and I can't decide. So I'm like, I was hesitant to bring it up, but now that I've been looking at it more, it's like one of those optical
like slightly looking over the head. But that's just
It's like one of those optical illusions where like you look at it once and you're like, oh, she's looking right at the camera, and then you look away and you're like, oh no, she's not looking at the camera at all. I just keep on changing my opinion, so I don't really know if I have a solid opinion there.
I kind of feel like she's looking at the camera, but then again, that's just my opinion. But
it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Something I wanted to bring up here again is the watermark.
Mm-hmm.
I generally don't think having your URL as a watermark is the most aesthetically pleasing thing.
It doesn't make a lot of sense because you can't click it.
Yeah, it's a lot to type in, so like having something.
I would just say that you're like Gray Romer Photo like at Wix.
Yeah.
Or just put Gray Romer Photo at Wix site. Like
yeah.
Just
People
shorten
will
it
get
up.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need the HTTPS. You don't need the URL afterwards. That would help. I would also like if you're gonna put the URL, like something you're explicitly wanting people to see and come visit. This is the kind of the opposite of previous one where we were talking like, oh, if if you're just wanting to copy, like copyright claim this, and prevent people from stealing it, then you make it less noticeable. But like this one, if you want if your goal is to get people to come to your site based on the watermark and they're going to have to be typing in an exact URL, like you want to make sure people can read exactly what that text is. And I'll just try and zoom in
Well,
here for
hard
chat.
to
It's pretty
Yeah.
hard to read. Like you kind of have to really like, okay, I think that, yeah. So I'd have it pop out more if that's the intended goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd also like, I'm not exactly sure what direction I'd take it in, but I'd like to see the colors played around with a little bit more. I think there's a lot of potential for this photo to play around with the greens. I'd just like to see it just taken a little bit more.
Yeah. Experiment, play around a little bit.
Cool. You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
Good.
Okay, let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Geek Kind. Sarah, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So I really like the creative direction that they were going for this photo. Like I feel like they were going for kind of like that like old school like family portrait type aesthetic, which I think is pretty cool, and you don't see that a lot anymore. Like I feel like this is something I would see like maybe 5 years ago. For photos, and I kind of miss it because I'm like really into the whole like I can't think of a different word, like that scrapbooky feel, like old photo feel.
Like vintage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's always a cool look to play with.
Oh, yeah.
My only thing is like I think it was maybe taken like a tiny bit too far. Like it's like a little like I don't know if there was like a blur added to it or if it's out focus. I don't think it's actually,
I think it's
they might
like
just be too much.
in post there's like kind of that like flare or something that kind of gives it that like a bit of
Yeah.
washed out look. It's hard to yeah, something about
this
it.
would benefit from this feels like okay, so this is an example of like remember I said the first image feels flat, but like in a good way, or matte. This feels matte or flat, but like not in the best way. Like I think there needs to be more depth. I think a lot of the shadows have brought out so much that lacks a little bit of depth. Like I said, I think the editing was just taken maybe like a little bit too far and just adding back some shadows and highlights to add some like dimension to the photo would be really nice. But I like where they're going. I like their idea and where it's headed. Also, is it Harry Potter? Is this person in the chat? Because I'm confused.
Yeah, we're just like it has to be Harry Potter, right? Like you
We were
can't.
talking about this during stream because the guy in the chair is definitely Harry Potter, and then the guy to the left is definitely maybe like grown-up Ron Weasley. But then the guy on the right, there's no way that can be Sirius Black because, not spoiler, he's dead. Anyone can like educate me.
Not spoiler. You did.
Anyone can tell me. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't. We've been questioning about that.
Is it
and-
Harry Potter though? Because I don't see the scar on his forehead.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit, you're
man.
right.
Yeah, it's can't.
No,
Oh man, got him.
no, the
Got
scar's
him.
not there.
Yeah.
Is it even Harry Potter?
They got wands.
pretty-
This is
I think
all
it
we know. Could
I
be
feel
something totally
stupid.
different.
James, Remus, and Sirius.
But then also.
Oh no, that makes sense because the scars. Oh,
Okay,
I get it now.
that's what I was thinking
Ah.
possibly, but I didn't remember
Wow.
characters and names enough to say it.
Yeah, I
Whoops.
didn't either.
I didn't think anything of the scars on the face.
Really?
Yeah,
I
solid.
tried. I've only seen the movies. Don't hate me.
I haven't read any of the books either, to be fair.
Read all the books, but it's just been a hot minute.
We're
Like,
old, y'all. We're revealing
yo.
our ages. Whew.
But the more I'm thinking about it, if this was going, it really seems like it does. A lot of vintage photos do have that kind of like what's the word, like a low clarity, kind of like a dehaze is
Grainy.
brought down or
Yeah.
something like that.
The film
Well, yeah. Well, plus that like kind of like that
Mhm.
that like glare in the top half kind of makes sense if that's what they're going for.
Yeah. I think it's close, but there's just something that makes it feel not convincing. I feel like if you got to lean into that a little bit. One, I think like the bottom half feels just too bright, like the floor. Feels too bright. Like there's too much clarity in that section if like you're going for that super vintagey look.
Yeah.
Also,
so like everything should have been kind of.
Yeah, like just take down the brightness of that. Like just in general, though, I think also take down the brightness of that. Excuse me. But also,
wow, excuse you.
Up the grain. Like if we're gonna go vintage, I think you can really
for real.
lean hard into the film grain or look
you
of
totally
it.
can.
And honestly, it looks like it was actually like, unless this is grain added in post, it looks like it was a fairly grainy photo to begin with. But then you like took like kind of cut down on the color graininess, but like, man, if that's the look you're going for, like lean into it.
Full throttle.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting direction for this shot, though.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a
In
very
general,
interesting take.
Yeah, I like the feel of the image. It's kind of murk.
Yeah, it's got like solid art direction, which is more than like more thought was put into it, which is more than lots of photos are. At least the concept part of this feels like, oh hey, we actually thought about this, and I was like, oh man, this looks cool. Let's take a picture.
So like, Guinea Lynn says she's very into Harry Potter. So isn't James Potter like supposed to be kind of an asshole? Like that's how he was perceived in the movie, sort of. Well, regardless, whoever is James Potter in this photo, if that's what he's supposed to be, he's doing a damn good job. Like he does not look like a nice person.
he looks smug, very much.
Oh yeah, James was a huge asshole. Well, then this guy nailed it. Like literally, when I saw this, I was like, "Yikes! I don't like him. He's not someone I would want to talk to." Damn, this is spot on.
Okay. With that, you guys got any other thoughts on this one? I feel like probably talked about most things here.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they went this direction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I like this shot.
Yeah, it's fun.
Just because we've been talking about it a lot. Dig the execution of the watermark here. I think
this is a nice watermark.
Yeah, this is a
I think it's
good way to bring it in. Maybe feels.
This is an example of the opacity thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like it's very clearly, I think, on like soft light or something. But
I don't know.
like,
I actually think this there's like a little bit of opacity, but it's not very strong. The only thing I would say there is that this potentially could feel a little at odds with the vintage look. That's the only thing I'd say. But like,
because it's kind of like a modern.
Yeah,
super modern.
Yeah, but like taking that like the art direction out of it for the second, I dig the execution of the watermark. So.
Yeah, I think it's well executed for what it is.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to the next shot.
I love these colors.
This next one is from Breton, killing it with the Legend of Zelda.
What did he submit last time?
I don't know, but we liked it. What did he submit last time? Hold on.
I don't know these colors. Whatever. They're
the colors.
He submitted a photo. It was the Roy Mustang photo last time.
Oh, is that? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The editing style's so different. That's cool.
Yeah. Wait, am I crazy?
Well, these colors are dope as fuck.
Yeah, the colors are.
That sun
stellar.
coming in on the right.
The flare
is so nice.
Freaking gorgeous. The light on the.
I think it's a little dark on the left, but.
Yeah, I think I would have brightened it up a little bit too, but like just the direction of the light too on the model. How it's just
so
like
nice.
It's just like so beautifully like falling. I love it.
I kind of wish it like there wasn't like this is another example of like similar to the Thumbelina photo is like I kind of wish that they had gone down lower like a tiny bit so where there's less headspace and see a little more of their legs. I don't know who was supposed to start this photo. I'm sorry.
David was. Yeah, sorry. We totally. That's fine. It's fine.
It's my husband. Link.
Sarah's just so excited.
I do agree with you though with like crop Sarah, do you need a minute?
Sarah, do we need to
no,
put you
like
in a
I
timeout?
agree with you, chopping it down. Because my one thing that kind of like slightly bothers me is like just the little pieces of grass like sticking out from the bottom. Like I would have rather
I
not
think I would have
seen
taken
it
them out.
or seen a little bit more.
They don't particularly bother me, but I'd say we want to see more of it. It's just like they're just like
Yeah,
tickling the
You
bottom of the
know.
frame, like. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
yeah, they're just poking in. They just throw me off a little bit personally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have any problems with it. I just wish it was a little bit lower.
Mhm.
I know this is something you guys said that you liked, and I don't disagree necessarily, but I think the glow, the like sunny sun glow. Oh my god, Mal came in. For
I
the
knew
perfect
you'd
time.
appear now.
She's just like she was summoned. She knew. Lord. I think the glows maybe a bit strong.
I think so. I can kind of see where you're coming
I
from,
think
but
it's
if
too big.
it's either too strong, or I would have liked to have seen it bleed onto the left side of the image a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like these two halves of the image, because I really do feel like the left side's a little too dark.
Yeah, I would also maybe take a little bit of the color out of it. Like it's a very warm glow. I'd maybe
That's
just
kind of what I like about it.
Oh, I
That's
don't.
what I like about it, though.
Okay.
But we can
I
agree
don't.
to
I
disagree
don't. No,
here.
no. Let me finish. Let me finish here. It's not that I dislike it being warm. I just think it's just a bit too saturated. Like, I think just take it down. Just like, just
I mean,
a
just
smidge.
a hair. Yeah, that wouldn't hurt it.
Yeah, I think it's just like I'm looking at the color falling onto like the area around. Like, there's like the sun glow isn't affect like that color from the flare is not really affecting anything in the photo. That's why I'm just like it feels a little bit too strong saturation wise to me, because like otherwise you'd pick up like some golden color on the from light bouncing off on the leaves. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I like Ara's perspective on the photo. She said, in a poetic sense, unrelated to photography and composition, the two halves of the photo are so symbolic and appealing. He perseveres in a world of darkness, chaos, yet looks up and retains hope. I like that.
Okay, then yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, the left is still a little bit too dark.
Yeah.
It's just the blacks are so crushed on the left. Like there are very clearly some very nice darks on the right side of the photo, even though it's a lot lighter. So it just is a hair bit too dark. It's just you're losing detail a little bit.
So,
like that's what we mean blacks are too.
Yeah. So I'm of two minds of this about the thing that I'm just going to bring up here, which is one, I like the composition. I like kind of the focal point being on the middle lower third there. I think that's cool. But like, what do you guys think about doing this as like a 16:9 crop?
I was thinking it.
I was literally going to say that if
like, what do you guys think about that? Like,
Can we see it? Do you want to do it? Let's see it.
Oh, Sarah, like I haven't already done it.
Whatever. He probably has it all pulled up.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny how we all had the same.
Yeah, dude, that's because
it's because it's Breath of the Wild. It is like one of the most cinematic games currently.
100%.
Yeah, so it's hard because I actually like the crop as is, but I also like this, so I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I like both.
Wait, did you do it? Oh,
yeah.
I can't really tell the difference. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I did.
Oh no, I can see it. Never mind.
Yeah, see, this is before crop. This is after crop.
It's super nice. It's nice. Yeah, there's nothing like we said. There's nothing wrong with the first crop.
Yeah,
it just works for both.
Cool. Now that we've got our love for 16:9 crops out of the way.
Too bad Instagram hates 16:9. Whatever, they can suck my dick.
No, it likes 16:9 as long as it's landscape.
That's true.
It's not like 16:9 vertically. It just hates vertical images. Period.
It's like, although on slight disagree. If your photo is just slightly vertical, you actually take up more space in the feed. But then if you go too vertical, they're like, can't have that. You know what I mean? Like, there reaches a point where it goes from like square and it lets you go like to this, and then anything past that it's like nope, that's not okay. I'm gonna crop that. Cool. Let's move on to the next shot, guys.
All right.
Okay.
My friend Jane says 16:9 needs to be an emote.
I know. We need a digital ironing emote, and we need a 16:9 emote.
Jane, you are so right, though.
Jane,
we
I
have
also-
the Dutch. We need
I
the
also-
16:9.
I also need to get some subscriber emotes coming in here, but I'm bad and I haven't done those yet. So if you have any ideas for
Thank you.
subscriber emotes, I'm all, or that's emotes,
me
but
just say-
badges.
Can we just say Jane has only been part of 2 streams and she's already calling us out on the 16:9? Yikes.
Let's go on to the next shot and ignore that. This next
Oh,
one
the next
is
one should be
from Fluff-
16:9
Oh my
too.
god.
Oh.
16:9 horizontal. We just crop the entire shot up. Sorry. This next shot is from Fluffy Fox, and hopefully she's here. She said she was out
She was at
watching in
dinner.
between Ubering. So
Yeah.
so hopefully
I hope she didn't. She might have gone to dinner.
yeah, so hopefully she's still here. But if she's not, she can she
oh,
here.
Oh, there she is.
Hello.
Okay. Well,
It's you.
see, I'm starting off on this one. Cool beans. I dig the hell out of the colors in this one.
I love it.
too.
So what sells
love
me
this so
the
much.
most in this shot is the glass being lit up that kind of bright orange. There's
Just like glowing.
yeah, there's probably, what I'm guessing is there's light underneath the table that's lighting things up because you got that glow from below. So the bar's lit up, but yeah, that just looks really cool. It kind of gives it a really nice focal point. And that you get that really nice soft orange light on half of his face and the blue on the other half of his face. That's just a really awesome look.
Is there a light? Like, is he holding? Like, is there a light on the counter? Or is
No,
that...
I think it's the bar literally has like
Oh, the
inset
bar is
lighting.
lit up like that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It seems like
Yeah.
the bar's lit up to me.
It's
Yeah.
just that's so it works
don't
so
know.
well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the blue might be a gel, but
I don't think so. I don't think
so. Yeah, I feel like
I
that's just the ambient light.
no,
But does Fluffy
I'm
Fox shoot with lights?
yeah,
I don't know.
pretty sure Fluffy Fox doesn't even own a flash, and when she uses lights, she has like a literally like flashlight that she uses. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but so I'm pretty sure this is not like a gelled, like, because the light's so soft too, that blue. So I think that's just natural environment.
It could
Um,
be. Yeah.
So I
I
want to touch on the color palette of this photo. This is something that you would see in like Vogue magazine or something. I love the orange and the blue.
Oh yeah.
Like, and they made it work. Like, I talk about this a lot in my stupid Twitter walkthroughs that you guys read for some reason. I like complementary colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that point, the only thing I would say here is the like orange in the ceiling. I would like to see that taken to match the other orange in the photos. Right now,
Yeah.
oh man, fucking Kaze Mike coming in with a raid of 16. Holy
What
shit.
does that mean?
It means
What does that
it
even
means
mean?
Miku ended his stream
Kaze,
and is
Kaze.
coming in with a bunch of cats.
Those
Hi
are
everyone,
corgi.
welcome to Cosplay Photo Critique. Hopefully a lot of you actually know what this is, because if you're watching,
Art corgi.
We're like talking about
if you watch
absolutely fucking
if you watch
nothing.
Kaze and Mike, hopefully you kind of know what Cosplay Photo Critique is about. And if not, everyone that was in Kaze Mike's stream that made it over here, you need to tell Kaze Mike to be a guest on the
Oh,
stream.
we want Kaze Mag to be a guest.
Yeah, like
So
harass him. So if you're like if you're on a stream, just constantly harass him about it. He'll love it. But sweet, thank you so much, Kaze Photography, for that sweet raid. Back to the photo. So Yeah.
Danny, I want that emote.
I definitely to make that kind of like the tones in the ceiling are a bit more like yellow. I'd make them a bit more orange just to match.
Yeah.
Also compositionally, I think this photo's real close. I think just if you would move the camera down just a little bit, not I forget who said it, but someone else said that Vash 204 said that they wish the foot wasn't cut off, and I'd agree. Just like bring this crop down just a little bit, give it a little less headroom, get the foot fully in there. I think it's super solid.
Yeah.
Not a lot that needs to change in this image.
Yeah. I think that's one thing to pay attention to in a lot of images, because I even catch myself like doing that a lot too, just cutting off, because like it'll totally like sometimes change images if you just have just that little extra space.
Yeah,
Always,
it's so hard to pay attention
of framing your model. Yeah, it is. Like I said, it happens to me all the time. But like one thing to really try and focus on is just making sure you get all of the model in there. Obviously, if it's something that's like super close to being it, or the other one where you just cut off the hand, never cut off hands midway.
Kind of like you gotta cut it off, or you don't cut it off at all.
Yeah. Don't cut off at the joints.
Yeah, and if you're gonna show, like, if you're really close to getting like a foot like or a hand all the way in the photo, and there's just like an edge cut off, like just zoom out a little bit. You'd rather have the space to crop in than the other way around, because you can't go the other way. So
nope.
Yeah, Fluffy Socks says it was actually so dark they couldn't even see his foot. I can relate to that. It's hard. It's hard to manage when you're like shooting in these environments. Not even these environments. Even when it's nice out and you're just like, you shot one shot and then you accidentally change the framing a little bit, and then you're cropping off and you're like worried about other things in the photo that you forget that or haven't noticed that you changed the framing a little bit. It can be hard. But.
Yeah, I think also the thing, like, I noticed that at the beginning, but it didn't bother me too much. I think because there's so much like just like how much that glass is glowing, and like the left side of his face, it just all my attention goes like right to his upper half anyway. So it really doesn't bother me too much with this shot.
Especially because it's in such a dark area of the photo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just putting that on like my photography wish list for this photo. Like just a little bit. But cool. You guys got any final thoughts on this one?
No.
Cool. Okay, so now we are going to take a short 5-minute break. However, when we will be back, we will be doing our Q&A. So people in the chat, come think of some questions for us. They can be cosplay related. They can be photography related. They can be neither of those, as long as they're appropriate and feel mildly relevant. So totally up to you. Just keep them appropriate, please. Yep. I'm not too worried about it. You guys haven't been bad before, so I don't expect it to suddenly change. But nonetheless, want to say it anyways. So we will be back.
I'm excited for the next photo, you guys. Get ready.
Oh, I know why.
So pretty. It's so pretty.
You'll have to wait till after the Q&A to see that one. Actually, technically,
but...
if you went to my Flickr, you'd be able to find it. But don't do that. You're gonna spoil yourself. Don't ruin this.
No spoilers.
Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Think of those questions. Be back soon. Whoa! Welcome back. Thanks everyone for sticking around.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
So we got some questions already right off the bat. So thank you guys. There's nothing more awkward of us stalling for time as we wait for questions to roll in. So I've set the countdown timer for this. We're gonna start off with Eric Jaw's question, which is, are there any genres or cosplays you'd never shoot? I think there's I'll take that down to, is there any cosplays you'd never shoot? Just because, like, I think that kind of narrows the question.
Never shoot.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say never, but there's definitely cosplays that I am not like mostly not interested in shooting. Like, it's kind of funny because David, you said earlier that like Joker is one of the characters you'd love to shoot. Joker's like on my list of characters I have zero interest in shooting.
I have no interest in,
Okay.
comics only because I have no connection to them, like emotionally. So it's hard for me to shoot something if I don't feel something for it to some extent. So that's basically.
Yeah, I can't agree with both of you guys more.
Yeah.
Except for the Joker part.
Yeah. But like for the most part,
Yes,
like
that's a Joker part.
it depends how well someone executes a cosplay too. Like if there's a cosplay that I'm not particularly interested in, but like someone just does such a freaking amazing job, like it's
No, I still wouldn't shoot like Marvel or DC things. Like you could have the most like fucking like bomb ass Wonder Woman, and it would still take a lot for me to shoot it. To be honest, I just have no interest in that subject. I just don't really care. About
I mean, I agree.
That stuff.
I agree for the most part.
Although there was a really bomb ass shooty from Black Panther at Katsucon that I'm really mad I missed because she looked so fucking good.
Yeah. I just Lou asked a question, and I feel like there's a specific way I need to ask it. Is what is your favorite color?
Mint.
Yeah, I like. So I can't really choose one.
Mint and lavender.
Oh, those
Like
are
gray,
so-
like gray lavender.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
And
I'm
like pink.
I'm just a sucker for
I mean,
blues
for the
over
most part,
all over.
for the most part, I like oranges. Orange is probably. I mean, that's the color of my car. So
I'm glad that some people got the Monty Python reference.
nope,
But
I
most-
didn't. Haven't seen
most-
it.
Most people are just like,
I'm not kidding. I haven't seen it.
it's fine. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay,
that was
we're
like
old.
that was like hot shit when I was a kid, but now it's like
Yeah.
no one fucking knows what it is. But it's
David,
okay. I'm
David,
old.
you're too old. You're too young.
Yeah, you're too young. You're a baby.
I'm only like 4 years.
That's a
older than
lot.
you.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm only like 4 years old. You guys, stop it. Lay off.
I'm only 4.
I'm gonna
Leave me
do this one
alone.
briefly. This one is from Lou as well, which is how does one get into Twitch streaming? Well, it depends what you want to do. I will make this. I'll make this very brief. One, it's a lot more effort than you think it's gonna be. Two, honestly, as long as you have a mic, like it depends what you're gonna do. If you're gonna stream like photo editing, you really don't like if your computer's strong enough to handle photo editing, it's going to be able to handle streaming and photo editing at the same time. It can be a little harder when you're gaming and streaming at the same time, but as long as you've got like a mic and preferably a webcam, you're pretty much going to be fine. And then just learn how to use OBS. Yeah, it's not OBS can be be a daunting, but once you get it, it's not too bad.
It's a lot, but
Yeah, it's really confusing.
It's confusing because I feel like it doesn't work the way you think.
It's not intuitive.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
it's not very intuitive
once you
at
figure
all.
it out, it's just like, oh yeah, no, this makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
So Young asks, what is your dream shoot location?
Okay. Do you know those like salt flats that are
Yeah,
flooded with like a thin layer of water?
Yeah, in
where it's like perfectly reflective?
I want to shoot Kingdom Hearts 3
Yeah.
there.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
same.
and,
That's
uh,
I would
exactly what I wanna do.
die.
Utah,
That's
I
my dream
believe.
shoot right now. Is it Utah?
Yeah. I think, well, I mean, depends. I think.
Yeah, there's ones like in the U.S. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Utah
yeah.
is
They're just West Coast.
Anywhere in Iceland.
honestly Iceland. Like even just purely not for cosplay, Iceland. I want to go to Iceland real
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I want to go to Iceland too.
The only thing I'll say about those salt flats is like you have to get lucky with them as well because it's like they're only like that after it rains and then like it rains and then it clears up because otherwise it like all the water gets absorbed real fast.
Yeah.
Like that's
Plus, you
what I'm
gotta
just
be lucky
like.
with time of day too.
Yeah, there's a lot that requires going into that. So like that's what makes those photos when you see them like extra cool because you know like they had to put a lot of extra effort into making those happen. Okay. Ginny Liz asks, favorite cape flipping technique.
Depends on the fabric. It depends on the fabric.
Yeah.
I think if it's really flowy, like really light and flowy, I recommend dropping it, not tossing it. If it's heavy, toss it.
Yeah,
Again, it's really dependent on how the fabric flows. I usually do a test of both before I flip. Like
Yeah.
I'll have my assistant do a toss and then do one where it's a drop, and then figure out which one's better.
I think
it's a hit or miss.
I think for the most part, like drops work better
I agree.
because you can kind of like somewhat like predict where it's gonna go versus a flip. Like depends if it catches on the hand when it goes, when they let go. It's just so much more like just put it here and here.
That and flips can sometimes bunch up if someone's like doing that in a certain way. Especially if you're gonna do it, try and keep it so that like the cape is like mildly taut, not like tight, but like
it's also
so
like,
you just don't
it's
get
also
that.
how it's made. Like, is it a full half circle cape or is it a rectangle cape? Like, it really is dependent on fabric.
Or is it just like thin drapes of fabric? Like,
exactly. Like
cape.
there really is no like right or wrong answer. That's why I like both when I do it. It's like I'd say more than often than not, a drop is better. But you never know.
Totally depends on the situation.
Okay, Sir Darb asks, how do you go about learning color grading? There's more to that. I find this is funny because I literally just posted on Instagram today. I'm just like, fuck color grading. What tools in Photoshop do you prefer for the job, or is there one that you think is more efficient than the other? Curves, levels, gradient map, etc. I'm super stuck and really want to dive more into color grading.
Selective color layers are your best friend.
And curves.
Yeah. But a selective color layer, I think, is less intimidating. Unless you're fucking mallow. I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to use 3 adjustment layers. I use color balance, selective color, and curves. So my 3.
So my order is usually curves, then selective color, and then color balance.
It's funny. Mine is like the exact opposite of that. I do color balance, then selective color, then curves.
Yeah. With me, I start like with I'm trying to figure out what the name of the tool is. So like in Camera Raw, or like I start with calibration.
Yeah.
You have like your
those
red,
sliders, yeah.
Your red, green, and blue red, green, and blue primaries. I always play around with those first, and then bring it into Photoshop, and then I'll adjust it with selective color, and curves. Curves is more so just like contrast in the image. I actually don't really use it too much for color grading.
If you use it for in the red, green, and blue channels instead of just like the overall luminosity channels, that's you can get.
I do that for shadows sometimes. Depending. But that's really it. And then, but another thing I'll use a lot too is gradient maps.
Mm-hmm.
That with either soft light or overlay at a really low opacity can do some freaking amazing things.
They said that they're stuck on curves. That's okay. Curves are not easy. Just keep experimenting.
You'll figure it out. Another couple other things to look into is using solid color layers and playing around with the blend modes on those. I really like to set sometimes like a solid color layer and like do a deep blue and then set it to like lighten blend mode. That can work out.
That's how I get my shadows.
Yeah, that's sometimes what I use for shadows as well. Other things.
Something that's really fun to play with that I've been doing recently is doing instead of a full color fill, is doing a gradient where I don't know what the correct like technical term is, but like one color is like full opacity and then the other color is like 0 opacity. So it's like one color, but it's like whatever.
It has transparency.
Transparency. There we go.
Yeah.
So you guys, I don't know what I'm talking about ever. But I'll do that to like one half of the image, so then you kind of have like a slight like color change like throughout it. So that's always fun too.
Yeah. Okay, we got a couple more questions here. Sorry, I'm kind of far back in chat here, trying to not.
It's pretty.
Where's
this
Ara
one from
with her freaking spicy questions? I'm so sad.
Nico Swore asks, how much should you rely on post? I think, and
A lot.
yeah, I'd say
You see
I
my before
relied
and
on
afters? They're
a
trash.
lot. Yeah.
100%.
Wait, I will put.
Not
Here,
100%,
I'll
but,
share
like-
with you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what the difference is. It's fucking crazy. You guys are gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, a lot of that has to do with I feel like my photos become my photos in post. Like they're like kind of there straight out of camera, but they don't become what I think of as my photos until they happen in post. So I honestly rely pretty heavily on post. I think we all pretty feel that way.
Yeah, me too.
My rolls are disgusting.
Yeah. So
yeah, same. Mine are usually super. I underexpose all my images.
Ara asks.
Usually she'd be like, "Why is it so dark?"
Ara
Wait,
asks.
Mike, what are you talking about?
God damn it. Ara asks, would you shoot fantasy photography of creatures, but not necessarily cosplay of specific characters?
Like original designs?
I'd assume so. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Heck yeah. I think that'd be so cool.
It depends.
The more elaborate, the better. Honestly, like it has to be like not like Saki's old level, but like like an intricate headpiece or like wings or like something.
Yeah. It kind of to me can't be like, yo, we went out and we like threw on some like wings and now it's a fairy character. Like it needs to be more more than that.
Thought to it.
Yeah.
Vash 204 asks, what advice would you give to an up and coming cosplay photographer? I feel like something that you set up top, David, really is applicable.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
They're just so like generally like try not to compare yourself to everybody else. Just do your thing. Just try your best. Have fun.
Don't get discouraged.
Yeah. Don't try. Well, I mean, it's hard to say don't because it's very easy to. And
it is easy
I've been
to.
there. I'm sure you guys have been there, but
it comes with a territory of being creative. Like you're gonna get turned down. You're gonna get people who shit on your work. You're gonna get people who find something wrong with what you do. Like it.
You're gonna hit a wall at some point. Like,
I've been in slumps before, like slowly getting out of one now. Like that's totally normal, and don't see it as like a weakness or as like a bad thing. See it as like a learning experience, and just keep doing you.
So what I would say with that too is that realize that feeling of like being like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, like my work's not that good. Lots of creatives, that feeling usually doesn't really go away. Like so just it's like weird, but like learn to I don't want to say embrace it, but realize that like a lot of it
use it as motivation.
Yeah, like it's gonna happen, and like you're gonna keep on improving, and you're probably like a lot of times you don't see you're improving yourself very well because you're stuck with yourself all the time, so you don't notice it. That's like a lot of times when you ask a photographer or any artist what their style is like, and they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't have a style. And 9 times out of 10 they actually do have a style, but they just don't think they have a style because it's like, I just am doing the thing that I think looks good, I guess, and like they have a hard time putting their own styles into words. But like not to put you on the spot, David, but like I asked you what one of your questions was going to be like, hey, what's your style? And David's like, I don't want to screw that. And like, but like, I think you very much do have a style. Like I look at your photos and I'm like, oh shit, that's a David photo. Like I could recognize a photo that you took pretty easily. So
yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. So
of what you were saying. Cause like,
I want to touch on something that someone said on a previous trip. I can't remember who it was, but a really good tip I thought was, it was Felix. He said one of the tips he gave last time was shadow a photographer that you look up, like assist them on shoots and like learn. I thought that was a really great piece of advice. I know I've learned some of my tips from working with photographers before I even started shooting. Mm-hmm. Like that's where I got all my knowledge before I even camera, was just working with people who do so I think that was a great tip.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I think that's good.
Well, actually, just one more thing too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Something I did a lot, and this is like, I don't want you to copy people, but a lot of things I did when I first saw someone's work that I like, I would really try hard to do everything I can in Photoshop to get my photo to look like that, not to copy them. Like, I would never post something that was directly copied, but I would use it just to like figure out my way through Photoshop because I was at a point where I was like, I don't even know what to like look up to have my work get better. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I just do what I do. And now I'm just like, oh, well, I like their stuff. Let me try and do that. And then you're like, oh, I'm using this tool I never used before or whatever.
art's pretty damn derivative, even if like we like to think it's like, oh, this creative process, but most of the time like lots of our ideas are just like taking someone else's idea and like slightly changing it and using it to grow off of. So like don't be afraid to use other people's work as a reference and kind of guidelines for where you want to go.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that was a great question to end the Q&A on.
Yeah.
So if you liked that, there will be more Q&A coming next week, Thursday, whenever we do this Q&A stream thingamajig that I'm trying to put together. Just plug in that again, so mark your calendars for next Thursday. At the same time, same place. All right, let's get back to the critique. So this next photo, Sarah was super hyped about. So Sarah, why don't you start us off on this photo from Jung?
Yay, swimming anime! Okay, well, that's not like the only reason. They posted these photos on Instagram, and I remember like scrolling. I mean, I scroll really fast for Instagram, so I literally like stopped because I thought it was like a scene from like someone made like a fan trailer or something, and there was like a screenshot from it. Like I thought it was, I don't know. I just like couldn't believe it was cosplay. It looks so real that they shot in this desert in California somewhere.
Yeah,
this is
super
I'm literally
awesome.
so
Freaking
like
amazing.
I'm not kidding. I was talking to them on DM, so it's like I'm not kidding when I said like the photo is so beautiful. The whole set is so stunning, and I'm not just saying it because it's free. Because it's free, everyone knows that. But the location is perfect. Cosplayer has this like beautifully like stoic, like they're portraying Haru like, so well. The lighting is so pretty. It's clearly very windy because their sash is moving. And oh my god, I don't know how your camera just wasn't.
I'm like
destroyed.
obsessed with that shadow too. Like,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
The backlighting is. I don't even know how you even got it look like this. Like, the sky isn't completely blown out. We have like that sun glare going on.
Yeah.
Like there's fucking clouds in the sky. Whatever. You guys just need to check out this set. It's so pretty. Like I'm not even kidding. It's so good. I'm trying to think if I even have any like 16 by 9. I don't know. Try that.
Yeah, like I'm in the same boat. Like,
no, because then you can't see the stupid shadow, and then you'll miss out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I don't left like as is 100%. Like I freaking love this.
That's a nice desert.
It's so.
That's all I got.
Pretty.
Get out of here.
Wait, what the heck?
So yeah, I'd echo everything.
Also, however you edited this photo, I feel like it's different than your usual editing style. It's just super warm and like.
Did you just have a question because I see you're in chat? Did you bracket this? Is that how you got the exposure?
So the only thing is I can think of like looking at this shot, like I like it a ton. I feel like maybe it's a little out of focus, not terribly so.
Can't tell if it's out of focus or if there's just so much sand.
Yeah,
no, it's not. This isn't. I don't think this is out of focus at all.
I don't. I think it's mildly out of focus. Like if you look at the sand, it definitely is mildly out of focus, but that's fine. Like it's not egregious by any means.
Yeah. Like I said, it's hard to tell. What was the focal length?
Let me see if I have that in the.
But also, I don't mind it.
This is a 50, I think.
This is a time where
So
I like the softness of it.
Yeah, it's just shot at 50 millimeters. at f2.5
really?
at 2,500 second.
Wow.
So
I wouldn't have guessed 2.5 actually.
no, I would not have either. But I think you maybe could have even gone a little bit higher with your depth of field.
Yeah, I agree.
The only thing I was gonna say is I would maybe like to play with the colors just a little bit. I just wish there was a bit more variation in the colors of the sand. They feel like it's all like pretty uniform in its color. I wish there was maybe just a little bit more variation from like the highlights to like the midtones in the sand. This is me nitpicking, by the way. And I maybe wish the shadows were just like a bit bluer, but overall, like that's just pretty nitpicky. I really like the shot. The other thing I would say though, and this is like an easy fix, is so the subject of the photo is like super duper close to being perfectly center framed, but like is off by just a
Off like a
teeny
tiny
bit. I would just crop this photo in just a teensy bit so that you can have them fully centered in the shot. It's pretty darn close. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not something that I feel like you need to look at it for a while to realize it's not a full center crop. But for the most part, I'd just go ahead and give it like a teeny crop. So cool. You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
No, I love it.
Everyone should go check out the rest of the set because it's literally insane.
Yeah, I hope
so
your camera made it through this because that looks like a place that would just kill cameras.
I'm gonna go to their Instagram now and share.
Oh, Sarah. Okay.
It's such a pretty set.
I'm not disagreeing.
Oh look, another free cosplay on my feed. Wow.
Okay, let's move on to the next shot before this gets totally derailed. This next one is from Rem Create. David, do you want to start us off on this?
Yeah. So for this one again, my initial first of all, I like the shot. I love the bokeh. I think it's beautiful. But again, I just wish that the knee wasn't cut off. That just seems to be the theme with me tonight. But I mean, otherwise, I like the greens maybe a little bit more, a little bit darker. I would have liked that, and maybe the saturation of the purples and the flowers brought out a little bit. But overall, I like it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think to me the yellows that are coming in there at the top, just kind of color balance wise, there's yellows, purples, greens. Like you're getting those yellows coming in. I would have played around with those yellows a bit more. Maybe tried to change the colors to kind of get a more uniform color theme in the background.
Like more green or?
Let me see here. Let me play around with it for a second. I think maybe playing around with those purples and maybe seeing if you could take those yellows to purple. That could be a really cool effect. I don't know. I'm brainstorming out loud right now.
That's a weird question.
You go for it.
How is this lit? I'm like, is there a light?
There is a light.
I was gonna say the light. It's a little confusing.
Comment says this was shot with a speed light, a Godex TT 600.
It was it looks like it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that was going to be one of my major comments on it, is that the light on them is, especially on their faces, just if it was softer, I think it would work, but it's pretty hard and you get kind of some unflattering shadows on their faces. I would really have taken that, softened that light if you're going to use a speed light.
Yeah, put in a softbox or something.
Yeah.
Or a bigger softbox maybe, or move it closer, depending.
Absolutely. But
another thing too, I would have edited out the lanyard.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, but now
Oh,
I do.
no.
And oh, buddy.
Take it out. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with how complex that like area is, it might have been a little difficult, but it would have totally been worth the time to like edit.
No, I would have just freaking clone stamped a different part of the photo over.
I mean, yeah, you could have done that.
And then just mask out the shirt.
Hmm.
Oh, David, no, why?
I'm sorry.
This is super sloppily done. Just for the case of like a real quick example of what I meant by those yellows in the background. I do not think this is well done, but at all, by the way, just so I got that cleared off. But this is what I meant by playing around with those yellows and kind of like taking them to a different color to kind of make them feel more uniform, with the purples that are in the image and the green kind of give it a more solid color palette. Versus having the greens, yellows, and purples. I think like taking that kind of blue could be a blue or purple or something like that.
Yeah.
Could be really cool. Like I said, I did a real shitty job of it, but you get the idea. The other thing that like is getting me in this image in the weirdest possible way is the very top of this frame where the like sunlight is just peeking in at the bokeh. Just the way that it's cut off looks really awkward to me.
I would have.
I like that little bit of yellow at the top.
Yeah, this just like little bit of area here. It just looks kind of funky. And I would just
like
quick
the hottest point of that photo.
Yeah,
so
I would just
quick
Photoshop it out.
Super easy to.
Yeah, that's like a 2-second job to Photoshop out. But that's like a weird thing that my eye just ends up going to the edge of the frame because of that. I'm like, what the? So
this hasn't been brought up in a lot of photos recently, but for a while it was like the theme of like having like that one random speck in a photo that like just doesn't fit.
Yeah,
and that's what that is.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it's pretty beautiful.
I agree.
It's a really cute photo.
Yeah, I think a thing that we didn't talk about is the character interaction is really lovely in this shot. Like
it really is.
Yeah, it is. The pose is great.
Yeah, everything there is real nice.
Yeah.
Real
so
solid.
Soft.
So the detail that I really, really enjoy in this photo pose wise is the girl's hand. That's kind of the way it's tucked in, and the pose of her hand kind of neatly on her leg just really works for me. It looks really good.
It's draped beautiful.
Yes.
Like it's not. It doesn't feel awkward. It feels natural, which is really hard to get.
Yeah.
I have a nitpick.
Let's do it.
Only because why not?
Let it rip.
When people are wearing necklaces, make sure it's turned all the way around in the right. Because
yeah,
I actually thought at first I thought it was like a band-aid on her neck, and I'm like, dude, you should have photoshopped that out. But then I realized
so I looked at that earlier, and I was just confused about what it was, so I didn't even say anything. I was just
it's a choker necklace.
I didn't. I was just like, what is that? Oh, whatever. I don't.
You're just like it is what it is.
Whatever. It is. Yeah.
I noticed it like right away, unfortunately. But only because I've done that before, where I've worn something and I'm like, God damn it, I should have checked if it was turned like all the way around or not. So just something to keep in mind when you're shooting.
Yeah, no, totally. Could pick up on that. I just didn't even put that. I didn't even figure out what it was. I was just being stupid.
You're like, there's something here that's bothering me, but I don't know what.
I'm just like, I don't know what this is, so whatever. Maybe it's something I just don't understand. That's usually what happens when there's something like weird, and I'm just like, I don't get what this is though, and maybe it's supposed to be that way because cosplay is weird. I don't know. So, yeah.
I mean, that's real life.
Cool. Let's see. Let's move. You guys ready to move on to the next shot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this next one is from Alexis, who is both the cosplayer and the photographer in this photo, which,
Oh wow.
oh boy, is a dope shot for that situation. I'm gonna grab the link for everyone before I jump into this one. I'm talking about this one, right? Yeah. Sorry. Oh God, where's the link? Oh God, I'm a mess, everyone. All right, cool, got it. We're doing good. Everything's fine. I dig the hell out of the framing on this shot.
Seriously, it's so nice. Where is this shot? That is
Yeah.
just
I know,
so
right?
cool.
Yeah, it's
Where's
a
this, like, rundown?
real nice framing. And I feel like we had some shots with lots of negative headspace before in this critique. And we kind of talked that they weren't like working, and we wanted to crop in. This shot leans into that negative headspace. Like it is completely and it totally intentional. So
Yeah. And
it works
really
super well here.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed that you were able to nail this down. Considering you were shooting this yourself, and like this does not, having seen lots of cosplay self shoot images, lots of them don't have this feel to them. Like they're not environmental photos very
it didn't
often.
even dawn on me this is like the same person.
Yeah. Lots of times these kind of shots are a lot closer zoomed in shots where the cosplay is taking up the frame. I really like that you're taking it this place. Like it feels unique. It feels like and not trying to poo any other cosplayers who are doing self shoots that are kind of more focused on this, but this feels like there's a lot of thought being put into the overall photo, and not just like, is my cosplay looking good? Am I looking good? Like, is this a cool photo of me? This just feels like a really good photo. Especially because like it's perfectly in focus, and like the framing's real nice. Yeah, like
I know. I'm like,
her hair looks great.
When you said
also.
this was like also taken
yeah
by her, I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, I know, right? It's
because like, and like,
it's like good enough to just piss you off. You're just like, stop it.
Well, then it's just time to get nitpicky.
Yeah,
I can't even hit focus, and I'm just using the camera.
Yeah. So the other thing that I really like is I like where the crossbar of the door is going, like by her shoulder and her neck. If it was up a little higher and going through her head, I think that would have looked real awkward.
A little weird.
But like that's part of the reason why I'm like super impressed that this is a self-shot image, because like it's really hard to tell what that framing is going to be like, where you are like in regards to that. If you were a little bit too far back, you might screw it up. So yeah, freaking props.
I literally can't wrap my head around.
Yeah. So
I know, I can't either.
Nitpicky time. The first thing that jumps out to me for nitpicks is there's this one goddamn leaf that's in the foreground of the photo that I'm just like, could you not be there, please, leaf? Get out of here. So
leaf, you need to leave.
Yeah, get the
okay.
Leaf this photo. Yeah, sorry. I would definitely just that's quick, easy fix. Get that one out of there.
Well, I do want to say, like, this touches on an important subject where, like, if you are the photographer of your own photo, this also gives you the freedom to literally clean this up as much as you want.
Yeah.
And that freedom is, like, some photographers just don't do that, and that's fine. And then, but sometimes you want that cleanliness, and sometimes I'll have to ask a photographer, be like, hey, can you, like, take out these threads, or, like, my jank ass wig, or like, something. But it's like, but you're shooting this yourself, so you can do it. You don't need to ask for permission. You don't need to like whatever. Like literally, you can clean this up to any degree that you want. So for me, it's the leaf. And honestly, like this would be a lot of work, but I think it would be worth it. Is the sword.
The kind of leaves like at the bottom. Yeah. Or
no, there's just like some dings and dents just from like carrying it around and shit. and
Yeah.
I heard door, not sword. Sorry.
Oh, I mean the door too, but mostly the sword. I mean
Yeah.
the sword is such an important prop for 2B.
Yeah.
So I would have cleaned it up, just basic, just prop. I mean, shit happens to your prop. It's fine.
Yeah.
But just clean that up. But yeah, that big thing on the door needs to go.
Vash 204 mentioned something that I would like to bring back up, which was they were saying like maybe her display on her camera flipped out. I don't think that's
I don't think
there's
that's
a very
the
real
case, 'cause a lot of
possibility,
cameras
but this
don't
was
have
shot.
that.
Even if that was the case, this was shot at 50 millimeters. And your camera's on the floor. Like for you, like it's gonna be
barely see
postage
it.
stamp size. Like you're not gonna be able to like be able to see what's going on in that screen at all. You're pretty much like you're pretty much guessing and checking half the time. Like you're taking a photo and you're going back and looking at it on the camera and being like, okay, no, I gotta move back a little bit or that kind of stuff. The only thing I would this is hard because I'm of two minds on this. Is the vertical lines in this photo and how they're converging inwards. It's not something that I particularly like in this shot, especially because framing wise, you're getting them kind of peeking in right at the top of this shot. There are some things that you can do like in Photoshop to fix this by distorting the photos, the photo. But that's totally, oh God.
The distortion.
Oh, we're back. That was weird. Just all of a sudden both your video dropped on me for a hot second, but they're back.
Really?
They're back. I was like, oh dear God.
I just saw it in the feed.
I was like,
oh, they back.
Please no. Yeah, that was a yikes. So let me see what I'm talking about if I screen share. So oops, I hit the button. Please go. So this is the original photo, and this was me fixing for that vertical distortion. That's what I'm talking about. That way you get those straight lines straight, and I think it kind of makes the scale feel more epic. The problem, you're gonna get this if you're doing this angle, like pretty much no matter what lens you're shooting on, unless you have a tilt shift lens. Do you mind, computer? Would you stop that?
I was like,
Oh yeah, because I kind of lost your your voice too.
Well, that's weird. Let's hope it's done with that, because that's freaking weird. Oh man, what the hell? Oh, that's because I'm screen sharing. But yeah, no.
Funny too. Even fixing the distortion made it look like it went from like 50 millimeter lens to like a 200 millimeter lens.
Yeah, it's amazing how much I
Looks way
do.
more.
So for just like in case we want to show how that like I'll give like the brief way to do this. Duplicated the layer, distorted it with transform tools, and I'm just going to use the edge of the frame to kind of be a guide for the straight lines. So I'm going to distort these out this way to get that. Obviously this makes this image look super squatty if I do that. So then I'll lower the opacity and I'll transform again, and we're just going to scale it, holding shift so that we actually don't constrain proportions. And then we're going to do this until we have the cosplayer at the perfectly right scale, and then raise the opacity, and that way we straightened out those vertical lines without distorting the cosplayer. So that's how I do it, just in case, because I don't know if there's a clear guide. It might be hard to find, so figured I'd just share that real quick. Hopefully though, we won't drop out video wise. Oh, I realized that we're frozen again. Oh cool, that's fun. Stop screen sharing so I don't show everyone we're doing this.
yay.
Lol. I'm a wreck. Do. Okay, we're all frozen here. Hold on. We'll fix this. Cool. We're not frozen anymore. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. It was bound to happen.
At least it wasn't before the stream.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, I'm just happy. It's working now. It's working now. Okay. Well, we're going to be happy. No problem. No problems from here on out. Oh, yeah. You guys got any final thoughts on this one?
No, I'm blown away. What the fuck?
Oh, the color tones are also real good.
The color
Like,
toning's great.
Everything's
Like,
good.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
Shot's
is.
dope.
Who are you?
All right, cool. Let's move on to the next shot. This next one is from Chris or Edectic Cosplay and Photography. I butchered that name, but let's pretend I didn't. Sarah, do you want to lead us off on this one?
Even tell you how to pronounce.
Yeah, I can't even figure it out either.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, Fresh Gravity Falls. Pretty sure it's Grunkle Stan, or maybe it's his brother. But I really love how uncomfortable this photo makes me feel, because I'm pretty sure the guy that's like, quasi strangling him, the Illuminati triangle guy, something Bill, I don't know, whatever his name is. It's like a Gajinko version. I just think it's such a really cool concept, because I won't say it because it's a spoiler, but I've already said a ton of spoilers. But essentially, like, Uncle Stan gets like overtaken by Bill at one point in the show. So I think just like the message in this is just super dark and interesting, and it kind of stresses me out. Tight crop also kind of stresses me out in a good way. So I think the concept of this is super, super strong and pretty unusual for cosplay photography to have like a conceptual portrait. It's rare to have portraits, let alone like something with some kind of like symbolism behind it. So I think that's really cool that they decided to that route for this photo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Retouching wise, it's clean as fuck, and it's so sharp.
Yeah,
Retouching is stellar.
Yeah, like what was this shot at?
It was 85
85
millimeter Sony at
One
ISO
eight.
50. It doesn't say what the f-stop was.
It's like 1.8, David. That's just
Well,
The lens was at 1 point. The lens is a 1.8 lens. I don't know if that's what it was shot at.
Got it. Even though I like the tight crop, I wish it was taken out a little bit more. I also would have liked to see this maybe as a portrait, not a horizontal.
Yeah, it was a 1.8.
I think you could have gotten the same. I think you could have gotten the same effect, but not with a horizontal orientation. But that's just me. But I think it's really strong, super captivating, like really eerie, which is great for Gravity Falls. So.
And the color, I love the color grading too.
Me too.
The tones you got in this are so fantastic. They're so pleasing. Retouching's excellent.
This is a tiny thing.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I don't know what it is, but it's like I only bring this up because we're so close on the face. Is the white clearly a reflection of maybe the photographer or something? But the white on the glasses, the left line, like viewer right, I kind of wish it wasn't there. Now that I'm looking at it more.
Wait, the what?
There's like white.
Are you
talking like
glasses?
on like the eyelid area?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, I kind of
just
see
that
what you're saying.
reflection going on.
Yeah.
Now that I see it, I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
I'm sorry.
So
Doesn't bother me that much, though, realistically.
It really doesn't. That was just a tiny thing. But.
Yeah.
The retouch in this photo is so lovely, but I don't know why. I don't know this character. I don't know the story at all. But I just wish the face, like this close in, this sharp, I just wish there was like almost more like the face didn't look quite as perfect, especially given like the like reddened nose and like that kind of stuff. I just wish there is a bit. I don't want to say the face looked worse. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not figuring out the right way to put into this, but it's like almost too clean. It's like so good, but for the photo, I'm like almost wish it was a little not as good. I don't know. I probably explained that terribly, but hopefully.
Well, no, I get it. You're just saying like as close as you are, you'd expect to see a little deep.
Yeah, I think it's
I know what you're saying.
It's because of the context of the photo too. Like I just feel like this skin cleanup is just so good in this shot, and it feels like it's the kind of shot that maybe shouldn't be quite as focused on a beauty retouch like this. Take that with a grain of salt, though. Like, the retouching job that was done was super good, so I don't know.
Even the eye retouch is fantastic too. Just that subtle little bit of color.
Yeah. I personally think that there's maybe a bit, like, the sharpening in post was maybe a bit heavy. But that's really just because we're getting to see it at like 100% view. Like, the edges, like on the eyebrows and eyelashes, are looking pretty intense. But at regular screen viewing size, it's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys got any final thoughts on this one?
A really dope con.
Cool.
Nope, I love it.
Cool. Let's move on to the final shot of the critique. This one is from Sam Saturn. David, do you want to start us off on this one?
Photo has us shook. Well, has me shook.
Yeah, go ahead.
Me too. I'm just pulling it up. There we go. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, the flasher, I have to assume, but it's just executed so well. Like, it just looks so natural. It looks so good. The retouching is incredible, especially with like all the freckles on the face, like keeping those there but still smoothing out the skin. Like, 11 out of 10 on that. Like, and your depth of field here is just mind blowing. I love it.
So, for context for people, because like when I first saw this shot, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is just, how is this sharp and this bokeh? So it was shot on Sony, what was it, A7 Mark III, I think.
A7R Mark III.
A7R Mark III. On the Sigma Art 105 1.4. So it's really the lens that's doing it. That's that 105 1.4, which
that's what's doing. That's what's giving it the
bokeh. That lens is a freaking bazooka, and holy shit! Have you seen that lens? Like, the front element's like goddamn huge. I want to shoot with
105
it.
millimeters.
That's not how that works, but sure.
No, I'm serious. It literally is.
Oh, really? For that front element, it's freaking huge, and it's like you could beat someone to death with that lens. But holy cow, like, the fact that this is 1.4 and it is like as sharp as this photo is, like, I'll do a 100% zoom in and share for chat, because like, holy shit, like, this is just so sharp, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
To me, especially, like, when I look in like the details of the jacket, like, and the scarf, like, that you getting all that knitting detail, like,
you can almost feel it when you touch it. I mean, when you look at it, is what I meant.
Like,
you can feel it when you touch it.
Yeah, you can feel it when you touch it, you guys. Oh, now I can see your screen share.
Now that I'm seeing the screen share and was zooming in, I'm like, you got that one thread there.
I
Got
know,
that one thread. Ah!
Oh my god.
I didn't even notice that before.
I noticed it. I noticed it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I see it.
The color grade on this is super, super lovely.
Yeah.
Everything about this shot feels cinematic.
Feels like it's from the movie.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. There's only one thing that makes it not feel like it's from the movie.
What?
Do you guys know what it is? Come on, people! By now you should know this much into. It's gonna be a 16:9 crop, guys. Come on.
Oh, okay,
No.
whatever.
No, I actually think this
Yeah.
photo doesn't work very well in a 16:9 crop, but like,
I know. I tried it. Yeah, it doesn't.
yeah,
Really
it just like cuts off a bit too much of the cosplay.
Yeah.
I think if the
composition's perfect.
Yeah. If the shot was like a bit wider, you could do that, but like as it is, it's it's real good. Yeah, God, I am in love with the look of this bokeh. And now, like, it's not like I could afford this lens as is right now, but like now I can dream about it a little bit more because holy crap, this just looks awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the framing. I like the how they're centered with the kind of the buildings converging and having that white space in between the cosplayer, and that's where their head is. I think that works real well.
Mm-hmm. And where they're looking too isn't
Yeah.
right. It's nice.
Yeah,
Very
it very much
well
gives
executed.
that feeling of like they're walking down the street thinking about something. Like they're that look that they have gives a bit more like storytelling thought. It really adds to that cinematic feel because you're just like, oh, this isn't just like a cool looking photo. It's like, oh, they're thinking about something. Like they're, you know, that at least that's where my mind goes with it.
Yeah, their expression reads like there's something going on over there that I need to partake in. Very good. It tells a story. It's cool.
Cool. Any final thoughts on this one?
No,
Such a nice.
not for me.
Awesome. Well,
love
that
it.
wraps up the last image of the critique. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted a photo for the critique. I hope you found our feedback helpful, and hope you also find watching this enjoyable. With that, David, thank you so much for being on and being a guest again. It was awesome.
No, my pleasure. I really enjoyed it. It's a ton of fun.
Awesome. And David, where can people find your work on the interwebs?
You can find it at Sohno Photos on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook. But I never post to Facebook because Facebook sucks.
Mood.
Yeah, I mean, can't argue with that.
Instagram is where I post pretty much. If I'm gonna post something, it's gonna go to Instagram and occasionally Twitter.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And Sarah, where can people find your work?
Mainly Instagram. Sometimes I post different stuff to Twitter. I also have a Ko-fi now for photo walkthroughs, like edit walkthroughs. And a tip jar for people who shoot with me. Feel weird accepting money cash form in real life. So
And upcoming cons. David, I believe that you just opened up bookings for Anime Boston, was it?
Yep, Anime
that?
Boston. When is it? It is. Yeah, I think it's the second weekend of April. It's the middle of April. Same weekend as Easter, but I'm only going on Saturday.
Is that your next con? Then
Yep.
I just
Yeah, that's my next con, and then I don't have anything planned until Colossal Con East after that.
So I know for me, I will be headed down to C2E2 tomorrow night. So if you're going to be at C2E2, keep an eye out for me.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Yeah, if you see me, hit me up, say hi. I'll give you a Vontography magnet. Hell yeah. But yeah, so actually, if people are looking for shoots at C2E2, I have one spot left open for booking for C2E2. So if anyone's listening and interested, there's that one spot left. It's closing tonight. So like, if you're interested, get in there. But no big deal. I kind of don't expect it to fill at this point, but whatever. But after that, I will also be at ASUN. I'll be opening. I did my C2E2 bookings real late. I opened them like Monday, so it's my own fault. But so I will be opening bookings for Anime Central, which is in May. I'll be opening those probably early next month sometime. So keep an eye out for those if you're going to ASUN and interested. Sarah, do you have any upcoming conventions?
I have a couple things. So I have a local cosplay gathering coming up called Ellicott City. That's in Maryland. Papsco something. So I'll be at that shooting, hopefully, in case work interferes. I don't know, because that always seems to happen. And And then I'll be at Fanime is my next convention, my first West Coast convention. Yeah. Oh, so speaking of, Neil and so Mason Hikari photo and a Burial photo. I don't know how to say this thing. We're thinking of holding a photography workshop, like the week after Fanime. So if anyone's interested, let me know. They're trying to gauge interest right now.
I would love to participate. I just won't be there. That was like I saw that on Instagram feed. I'm like, I want to push yes, but I'm not gonna be there. Damn it.
I know, me too.
So it sounds like such a cool idea. So I hope if.
Oh really? Yeah, it really does.
I really hope
it's
you
more.
get the interest.
I think we haven't really talked about that much, but basically it's just kind of like just to come and hang out and like talk photo stuff, talk cosplay stuff, ask questions, that kind of stuff. And then I'll be at Castle East with David, and then I think I also have Otakon. I have a lot of cons.
Really?
But luckily they're basically not until the end of the year, so it's fine.
So the next critique is going to be on April 4th, so 2 weeks from today. Do not have the guest announced yet because I have not scheduled the guest yet. But
we've been busy.
But
y'all. Work's been crazy. School's crazy.
It's been a busy time. So I just haven't gotten to that. But it will be April 4th. So mark that down if you're interested. Get those photos in early because honestly, that helps me out if people get them in early. I love that when people do that. Also, make sure that your photos are in the stream and in the stream early because I do them now. Whenever you submit them is where they are in the stream. So like the first photo is the first photo is submitted. And
so it's not alphabetical order anymore.
It's not alphabetical. I changed that.
Okay.
People were requesting that and I realized I could do it in a super easy way. So I went ahead and changed that. If hopefully people noticed. And
then next week we have our Q&A stream.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means yet, other than we will be doing Q&A.
Questions and answers, maybe.
There will be more to it than that. I just don't fully know what I'm doing for that.
Pick your guys' brain.
I'm
gonna come and pick your guys' brains.
It should be a lot of fun. I want to make it a fun time, a fun thing to watch. It'll be 4 people instead of 3 because I think that format will work well for that. I have a lot of planning to do for that to make it happen, but that'll be 1 week from today. So next Thursday, that is the 28th. So make sure that you all Thursdays. Just next Thursday and then the following Thursday. Just be on here. As always, thank you so much for the people that critiqued along with us or asked questions during the Q&A. You guys make the stream super fun and just a joy to do. We really appreciate it. Once again, thank you to the people who submitted photos because otherwise this would not happen. We couldn't do any of this without you guys submitting photos. As always, if you're enjoying this and want to see this continue, consider giving a donation or a sub. I greatly appreciate it. By no means mandatory, but they help a lot and help us keep doing this thing, especially if you have Amazon Prime. That means you have Twitch Prime, which gives you 1 free sub per month. And if you're not using that sub, you really should be. And give it to any streamer, but if you enjoy this, consider sharing the love here. But yeah, seriously, if you have Amazon Prime and aren't using your Twitch Prime sub, fix that, please. Even if it's not for me, just do it.
Because then it's just wasted.
Yeah, it's just wasted. You're giving that money back to Bezos. He don't need that.
He literally doesn't need any more money ever.
He literally has more than anybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
he doesn't anymore.
think about that.
I'll post the link for the if you have a guest suggestion again. So if there's any guests you want to consider having on, feel free to fill out that form. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Look forward to seeing you guys in chat in about a week. And if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see on this Q&A stream, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm still brainstorming things on it. I'm a little wigged out that it's going to be in a week and I still have no format for it, but solid format, but we'll figure it out. It won't be a big deal, but cool. Thank you guys again, and thank you, David, again for being on.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
I think it's time to end this guy. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you hopefully in a week. And think about
coming out.
think about what you put out into the world. Make it a better place. Bye.